Hello, my name's Kathy Bissell. Welcome to the Golf Show 2.0. I'm here with my co-host, Gary Van Sickle, and our guest back again is the former record holder for the world's longest putt. His record from last year has been beaten, and he's going to tell us all about it and what he's going to do. Jay, why don't you and Gary start talking about long putts?
Excellent.
Yeah, Jay, what happened? You had the world record for the longest putt.
Ever.
Tell us briefly the story how you made that at the end of the day, and why are you here since your record's been destroyed?
Right. Well, and I told you the origin story last time, right? What started as a crazy idea of eight of us out there, putting on the course after hours, allegedly cocktailing and maybe gambling. But we always wondered, why isn't there a putting competition and what's the longest putt ever made, right? So we, at that point in time, decided we're going to start a putting competition and we're going to break the Guinness World Record. And as you know, right, it took us 2 days to break the record. But as the sun was setting on the second day, I actually hit it on pretty much our last putt. I mean, it was just, the whole story was absolutely epic.
And the record actually straight on their putting course.
That?
This was at Whistling Straits for people that don't remember.
Exactly, the Bass of Blackwell Front. And I will argue, ours was entirely on a putting surface, right? If you look at the definition of a putt, it must start and end on a putting surface. Now, the DP World Tour did an event in Dubai, and they had the pros all take an attempt to break my record. It's funny, they interviewed me, and I had interviews at, like a buddy called me from Italy. He's like, I just saw you on TV, right? They interviewed me and talked about it. And, you don't really expect to do it, but sure enough, David Micheluzzi, who is from Australia, a DP World Tour player, broke the record. Guinness was there. It's all official. And so, yeah. But, as a promotion, sort of, we're just kicking off now season 3 of the world's longest putt competition. As our big kickoff event, we are going up there and inviting some golf influencers and some journalists to join us and take a few whacks at it. So, any golf journalists that might want to travel to Wisconsin, have them get in touch with me.
I don't know any actual golf journalists anymore. It's only internet people, and I hate to call them journalists, but
that includes you, though.
I was referencing you, Gary. You're welcome to come. We'd love to have you, but we're definitely going to break the record. I mean, that is our goal, and like I said, I'll continue to attempt it until my hands bleed or the record's broken. But I'm feeling pretty good about our chances now that we've had some time to figure this out. But
what was the distance of your putt, and what was the distance of the new record? How much?
Right. So ours was 401 feet. His was about 417 feet. I'm converting from meters here, so rounding off.
Okay.
But our goal, there's been a couple other golf influencers who didn't have Guinness there, who supposedly put videos out there. There was one as long as 450 feet. So we're going to put our putt at the longest, break everybody's record. But I'm also really pushing Guinness. It's like, look, we can't keep doing this from a fairway, right? It's an approach shot with a putter. It's not a putt. And I really do think Guinness should have 2 separate records: an approach shot with a putter, and then the longest putt. And so we'll see where that goes. But we're working with them to try and make that distinction, because if you're not a golfer, right, some people don't know the difference, and we're trying to say, no, there really is a big difference.
Well, I have to believe that these other people only got onto this concept because of your event and your world record. It was just kind of a sleeping dog that you awakened with your effort, and people said, oh, that's, I don't think anybody thought about it. So I think probably you had a hand in them breaking the record. Did you feel that way?
I think so, because no one had broken the record in nearly 10 years. And since then, I've been contacted by so many people who've attempted it. And, a few people who said they broke it, but they didn't have Guinness there. Then obviously now the Guinness one. So yes. And I think it's, as you guys have noticed, right, there's this whole social trend in golf. And so we've been, like I said, we've been reaching out to some of these, influencers or, online celebrities, whatever you want to call them. And they're very excited about the thing. And that's what's really resonated with our long putting competition. Anybody can putt. I always joke, it's sort of like driving a car. Everyone thinks they're good at driving a car, right? Most people think they're good at putting, right? It's one of those, but when you really put the test to the competition, you do find, wow, some people are much better putters than others, especially, right? Our whole focus of our competition is long putts. Yes. So what's crazy, so this year, so like I said, we're just kicking off season 3. Our first regional event will actually be in Wisconsin in late August. But we have 24 events now scheduled around the country.
Wow.
At each one of these events, it's between 300 and 900 competitors.
Wow.
And that's just the regional events, right? So I think I explained a little bit last time how we do it. We still have a very much a charitable component, but we open it up now so that you can just pay an entry into our regional event. And you can come and you compete against everybody else, and that's fantastic. They're really well-run events. You get 3 putts on 9 different holes. We take your best putt. So on each hole, so you get 3, we take your best one, that's your score in inches. And as you go through them, the total sum on those 9 holes, lowest total wins, and you are that regional winner. And we have a division for women this year. We have a division for juniors this year, which is both new. But the best part is we've still continued, because we always started with charity events, right? And that's still our mission and sort of my goal in life as, basically being, well, I was retired, and now that I'm fully involved in this, I'm so far from retired, I can't even, it's crazy.
Yeah, you started this, you reaped what you have sowed.
Exactly. We're up to 6 employees now. 24 events. We're represented by a talent agency. We've got a Hollywood production company talking to us about sort of producing the finals and turning it into a true made-for-TV event. We have national sponsors. It's grown by leaps and bounds. But back to my point is we still are giving back. And so what we do now is that we'll give a free entry away to any regional event, right, to any charity organization. So now if you're running a charity event, right, we give you an entry into our competition as a giveaway, and you can then run a putting contest as part of your charity event, and the charity gets to keep all the money. So we used to do it where we'd come or we'd help them run it, and now it's just, we've got it down to a formula. Here's our toolkit. You run this charity event. All we ask is that it's a putt, kind of on brand. We like to be at least 40 feet. And then you send your winner to the competition. And then all we ask for them is to promote us. And that's worked out great. But again, the best part, anybody can putt. We did a big event at the Chicago Golf Show this year where we had 2 85-foot putts set up next to each other.
Okay.
And it was $5 to go to the CDG, Chicago District Golf Association, is supporting the Adaptive Open and helping those who are handicapped play better golf. And so all the proceeds went to that. Well, it was $5 for 3 putts. We raised more than $15,000, $5.
Oh my God.
And we had a line nonstop for 3 days.
Where did you hold it?
It was at the Rosemont Convention Center here in Chicago. It was indoors. It was in January.
Indoors.
So
Okay.
But it just shows you, right, the draw of putting, because anybody can do it, the competition of a long putt. But the best part, last year we had someone qualify for a regional competition through a charity who was 8 years old. Well, this year at the Chicago Golf Show, we had a 5-year-old sinking 85-foot putt. So we have a 5-year-old competing in the Chicago regional competition.
So easy, even a 5-year-old can do it.
Exactly. I mean, it really makes it a lot of fun, and everyone just sort of loves the putting. But
I think you'd be remiss if you don't contact the World Long Driver Association. If you could get Kyle Berkshire, one of the World Long Drive champs, to take part in this. That would be an incredible crossover, the longest drive and the longest putt. I mean, there's no reason those guys couldn't. And that would certainly another little boost of novelty or whatever to add to your show. You should talk to those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually, on our social media, we have an interview with Kyle at the PGA Golf Show in Florida. And so we brought it up.
An invite.
Yeah, his dad is his agent, and so we're talking to his dad on, we really, the difficulty for them, right? They also have a pretty tough schedule. So we're either trying to get him to a couple events or try to get him to come join us for breaking the Guinness World Record. A lot of it just is going to depend on his schedule. But we've really put it out there. It's crazy how quickly this has exploded. But I also think, I don't know if it's post-pandemic or what struck a nerve. I mean, golf is just a really popular sport right now.
Yes, it is. It is, absolutely.
And the growth is like 18 holes of golf, right? A golf course can only host so many rounds in a given day. And so much of the growth is coming from these ancillary activities, and it's the driving ranges, it's the Top Golfs, it's the mini golf is growing, right? It's all these
simulators are popping up left and right.
Exactly. Yes.
Mainly, these people are all getting in my way in the golf course, Jay. So I'm not as happy about it as you are.
How's your golf game going, Gary?
Well, I think we can move on. I've been struggling all year, and my handicap has gone higher. And as a guy who tries to be competitive, I'm not happy. But thanks for asking.
He won his senior club championship.
Yeah, well, that was.
He'd rather it was the club championship, which
it was. I won by default. Everyone else played even worse. So, it was a weak field. Maybe next year they'll.
A wise man once told me the sure way to raise your handicap is to get involved in the golf business.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure enough, my handicap's up 3 points this year because I'm so busy working. I don't have time to play golf. And
well, you thought you were going to be retired, and now you've become enslaved.
And you got employees.
New business, and you're gonna have to phase out the charity crap and start putting that money in your pocket, Jay. Come on.
Well, yeah, the good news is I think we are doing a lot of good. Though I did have, I got a fun golf story I have to share since I've got the audience now. I did have an albatross this year.
Ooh.
Wow.
It was a straight down win, so I got a little bit lucky. It's called the Belmont Golf Club in Downers Grove, Illinois. 9th hole, it's a long par 5, but there's a big hill, and if you get it far enough, you can get it over the hill. Well, sure enough, with the tailwind, I caught the backside of the hill. It rolled out, so I was only 176 out, and hit a 7-iron. It rolled right up and dropped in the hole, and there was a little celebration after that. So
wow.
I was with 3 of the guys who were with me for the Guinness World Record. And you are so lucky at this game.
Well, I made one the year before last for the first time, and it was the same exact story as you. It was a par 5 over a hill, and if you get in this thing, you get that extra 50 yards worth of roll. So same deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, did you join the Double Eagle Club? You can get the certificate online.
No, I didn't do anything. No.
Yeah.
And I was not a member at the course where I made this, so the pro was like, well, in 30 years, he's been pro here 30 years. I don't remember anyone ever making a 2 on that hole.
Wow.
But I'm not a member, so, okay, yeah, well, congrats. Next, they don't. You remember, you might have got a plaque or, they put up something in the locker room, but I was a guest, so, okay, really good. Congratulations. You want to buy a shirt? Otherwise, get out.
You need to go buy a plaque and just go install it on the fairway on your own. See how long it takes you to figure it out.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea. Install your own plaque.
That could be a whole new business. That could be a side business for you. You don't even have to make a hole in, but you could just, Jay Stocki hit an incredible 8-iron from here that got to within 3 feet in 1987. Just put it in, and people go, "What's this plaque for?" No one would know. You plug it in the middle of the night. Oh, I like that. I
love it.
So
tell people. Yeah, Jay, tell people who are watching this, where do they go online? How do they find you? Your website. How do they sign up for this stuff if they think that maybe they've got what it takes to be the world longest putt champ?
worldslongestputt.com, and our schedule is up there. And
wow, you got a schedule.
we just opened registration for the Chicago Regional, and in the next week we'll be opening the registration for the Wisconsin and Michigan regionals, and then we'll just work on a sort of schedule. About 2 months prior to the actual events, we open up registration, and we set up, it's 2-minute tee times, right? So people move through pretty quick, but we keep it going, and it's great events, right? The good news, this is year 3, right? So we've had some time to figure out all the kinks and how do you make this, effective and get as many people through and efficiently as possible. But
I assume you're returning to the baths at Black Wolf Run.
So yes, that's where the finals will be. It'll actually be Memorial Day of 2026. So we're almost,
Okay.
it's almost a year away from the next finals. But yeah, like I said, it should be a really good event, and we're upping the level of production. The good news is, like I said, we got interest from true Hollywood production companies. So it'll take our game to the whole next level in terms of getting the word out there and making it fun and inclusive and just hopefully entertaining. So
They can get in there and tell the backstories of some of the competitors.
yes,
This is ripe with a little effort, a lot of effort. This
Yeah.
could something that could easily be a TV show for Golf Channel or NBC or sports or whomever. It's
yes.
you've blown the lid off this, Jay.
But and it is amazing, right? Because I had a group that did a great job, but they did it like a live stream. So last year's production was like you would see at a golf tournament, right? It was very much a live stream of the competition going on, and it was fine, but it wasn't that exciting. But then a good friend of mine, Creative Fugitives is the company. He had done work in like the Deadliest Catch and everything else. He took the same raw footage, but edited more of the commentary from the people and just made it such a better event. And that was sort of the big aha moment is, yes, it's nice to watch the golf competition, but it's so much better when you get to know the competitors. And the worst part,
they are.
Right. We had a great event the night before. We had rented, there's a bar right near the hotel that you stay at up in Kohler, and it's had a simulator in there. And so we had a nice event. The competitors got to meet each other. But by the end of the night, all of the competitors are in the golf simulator. They're doing closest to the pin contest, long drive contest, making up nicknames for each other, all of this. And none of that was on video, right? That was the best footage for the entire production. And we didn't capture any of it because we're rookies. We didn't know. Now we know better. And next year,
it probably is probably a better show if it's packaged and edited and
yes, it is
shown later as versus showing it live is just an endless stream. Package it and then put it on the air, and don't announce who wins. Just get it on the air, and that's is next best thing to live.
Yep.
It's kind of like watching Bryson.
What's that, Kathy?
Watching Bryson DeChambeau hit that ball over his house, and the guy who he invited to come and hit the ball over the house, and Bryson had spent like all day trying to do it, and this guy does it in like 3 shots. I mean, it was amazing.
That was amazing. It was so fun to watch.
It was fun to watch. I thought, I don't
Yeah,
know if
if
I've got time to watch
Bryson,
this guy,
there's another guy you'd love to get, but I mean, he's busy doing his own stuff.
Well, their tour schedules, right? Because we looked originally like, how could we schedule some of this around their, events? But they're so busy, and then their limited off-season time is so precious because they spend it with their families. It's really hard to get them at these events, and so
yes, it is.
It's always a challenge.
Well, you can look. You can get some retired athletes from other sports. I was at a outing in fundraiser in Lake Geneva 2 years ago, and the guest was Ferguson Jenkins, Chicago Cubs great pitcher, and he was a wonderful guy. He's a decent golfer. And then, a lot of ex-Brewers are there, Paul Mauder, and I mean, the whole Brewers team in the 80s used to play golf all the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Spring training, So there's a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of ex-Cubs and ex-Bulls in your area who are on the golf course now. Where's Ditka? Get him out there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we need to get you guys at one of these events. So look at the schedule. Let me know if it conforms with
when we get done, and I'm going to make an effort.
It would be fun to have you.
Did you think it would get to be this big when you started the first one? Is just kind of for a fun thing?
You thought that was a one-shot deal, didn't you?
Yeah, we really did, right? But we kind of like the idea of why isn't there a long putt competition? But the first inkling, we're like, wow, we really got something here, is that when we were attempting to break the Guinness World Record, how many people, and it's fairly remote at Black Wolf Run, right? You have to be golfing the course to even know that we were there. And so many people came after they were done golfing and were lining the side, just having a beer and watching us putt. Also, we realized, and really getting into it, also we realized, okay, we're onto something here. And then a lot of people wanted to compete. And then, when we do these various charity events, how often sometimes like if a couple people make it, right, and you know there's going to be a putt off, how many people would stay well after the event is over and just keep paying their, their entry fee so they can keep getting 3 more shots at it. So our most successful event last year, I think we raised $3,700 for charity at one event. And, and it just, well, obviously that was one day event. The Chicago Golf Show trumped everything. That was 15 grand over 3 days. So I guess that's the biggest. But in these one day events, right, you just get that competitive fire gets going and people keep competing and the charities benefit, right? And it just helps us because it's just great promotion because then all of those people, they didn't win that, but they still want to be in the competition. So then they buy the regional entry fee and they're at our competition. So it's a lot of fun.
It's good for tourism in the area too. You get people to go to a golf course.
Yeah.
How many people?
They go to your course and they get out of my way. That's great. I like it.
How many people usually show up at each event?
So our regional events will be between 300 and 900. Depends. It's typically 300 a day is what we can do. So it depends if we're doing a 1, 2, or 3 day event. But then if you think about all of the people that we touch at the qualifiers, right? So we touched more than 5,000 people just at the Chicago Golf Show. At some of these big charity events, if it's a double course shotgun, or if they're doing a morning afternoon, right? You can easily get to 500-600 per charity event. I would say the average is probably closer to 100, but we'll do several hundred charity events this year. So I think in round numbers, I mean, I sort of my outside goal is I would love to have 100,000 people be part of it this year, and
that would be fabulous.
We'll just continue to grow from there.
That's a lot of touching. Touching a lot of people.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound right when you say it that way, but it's just a fun idea, and there's no reason this couldn't. You look long range. This could almost become a tour of 10 or 12 events or something like the long drive events. Why can't they be like that? So
yeah, and I would really like to see that, and we'll just continue.
You're gonna have to work harder, though.
Yeah. Well, the good news, like I said, I'm building a good team so that I can hopefully reduce my stress level. But it's been
delegate, and then you get back on the golf course.
Exactly.
Right.
I got to work on my game.
All about giving all the stress to someone else and you being able to play more golf, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well, look, you're not the record holder now, but you've got the official Guinness World Record plaque. You've got it. They can't take that away from you. There it is.
I do keep it handy for any conversation. When
Do you carry it with you?
Is that wrong?
No,
it should always be in your car when you go to a course. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's not wrong.
Here
it
I
should
am, and here's
definitely be
my
on your
plaque.
business card. Is it?
What's that?
Is it on your business card?
It is on our business card, or my business card, yes. But unfortunately now it's it just said Guinness World Record, not former or anything. But I guess once you hold a record, you hold a record, right? It doesn't.
You hold the record, yes.
But yeah. Now we're going to get into August. The odds that it's me, we'll see, right? Like I said, we're inviting some golf influencers and some, journalists to also compete with us to set the record. So it may not be me that gets the record, but we're going to get the record. I'm determined. All
right. Well, make sure you send me an email. I'll see if I can work it out.
I would love it if you could join us, Gary. Kathy, you're always welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for giving us an update on your event, which is really fabulous. I can't believe it's taken off like this.
A 5-year-old did it. Get on this. It's a lot of fun. You too could be a Guinness World Record holder like this fellow, Jay Stocki.
Oh, one thing I forgot, I'm totally remiss. So we have our regional competitions, right? Those are typically like 40 to 100 foot putts, right? So that's what you're competing on. Then at the finals, we kind of keep it in the same range, though they tend to be a little bit longer. But everybody who makes it to the finals gets a shot at the Guinness World Record.
Okay.
But we also insure that putt. So if they sink the Guinness World Record at the finals, they get $1 million. So it's
that got my attention.
Yeah. You should have started
all the
with
more
that.
reason to get in our competition.
Can you make $1 million putt?
Yes. Exactly.
I play in a tournament every year in a Pro-Am. It's called the $5 Million Challenge. and the 3 people who are closest to the pin on the 4 par 3s get in a shootout afterwards. And the first one, you get one swing. If you make a hole in one, all 5 members of your pro-am team get $1 million each.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
So I've qualified in 3 years. I've qualified for that shot 2 of the 3 years, and I can't really explain the feeling of having a shot for $5 million from 180 yards that you know you're not going to make, and yet you somehow you're out of your comfort zone. So I would love to have a putt for $1 million and not make it either. I could really hit the cycle here. That'd be awesome.
Gary, tell the story. You at least put the 180-foot or 180-yard shots close, right?
Nobody cares where they went if they don't go in, Jay. If they don't go in, it's like it's a pass-fail course. I failed miserably. You would like to, actually, I think it's better to hit a bad shot than to hit a really good shot. What if it lipped out or, then it's like losing a baseball game 3-2. It's better to lose 12-1. Yeah, they were better.
Yeah.
So I did not extinguish myself. Well, I did extinguish myself. Did not distinguish myself. So that's a great opportunity. So people check it out. World's longest putt, Jay Stocki, Guinness World Record holder.